So Craig and I went to New York City for 5 days and 4 nights, and we saw 4 plays.
Nice.
Meeting of Alfred, New York to order at 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, January 10th. Aren't you guys glad that I can remember all that information? I'll begin with the land acknowledgement statement. As we gather here today, we consciously and intentionally recognize, acknowledge, and honor that we are gathering on the traditional and ancestral lands of the Seneca Nation of Indians. With a proud and rich history, the Senecas are also known as the keepers of the Western Door and for their diplomacy and oratory. They are the largest and westernmost of the 6 nations that constitute the Haudenosaunee Confederacy of Nations, a democratic government that predates the United States Constitution. Alfred, New York, Allegheny County, and New York State at large are still home to Seneca people who continue to assert their tribal sovereignty. They act as caretakers and stewards of this land while actively maintaining their culture, ceremonies, and languages. By offering this land acknowledgement, we reaffirm our gratitude and commitment for the opportunity to work for and with First Nations peoples in this place as we pay our respects to the Seneca Nation on their historic lands.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did any of you grow up thinking you were supposed to say amen? Remains a constant temptation. Okay. Announcements. Republican caucus will be held January 24th, 2023 at 6 p.m. in the Village Hall. And the Democratic caucus will be held, wow, January 24th, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the Village Hall. Does anybody have any other announcements? Any events? Both schools are still out of session, so it's a little quiet. All right.
Yeah.
Devin, you're our only guest. Would you like to speak to us?
Actually, has there ever been any thought of putting like a curved mirror at the intersection of West University and Maine?
Years ago, we did consider that before we actually bumped prohibited parking, the equivalent of 3 spaces between Maine and West University.
I still sometimes am like, okay, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. There's coming traffic. It's like, I
Right. Yeah.
slam the gas pedal, turn quickly, or hope no one's behind you. Back up.
Sure. Do you want to make note of that and
What's that?
investigate a curved mirror for better vision?
You know, I agree with that 100%. That I've had a problem trying to look around that corner. Yeah, I will do that.
Yeah, there's like 2 big trucks parked in front of Checkpoint and Rosebush. It's like your
Yeah.
range of visibility shrinks.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
good point.
Okay, thank you. Mark Klingensmith, and is it Pat, of course, there? Yeah. Pat or Mark, comment?
I just like to say hi, Devin.
Mark said hi to you.
Oh,
All right, Pat, you're muted if you want to say something to us.
There you go.
Happy
I
New
just-
Year.
Happy New Year. I have noted that the floor of the theater is in bad need of refinishing. I was wondering if rental monies could be geared towards that. Or perhaps we could find a donor.
Yeah. Does any, so the wood floors in this building are actually, I think, 19th century subflooring.
That floor upstairs was replaced when they did the renovations.
Right.
in
Oh, they did.
2008. The whole floor was totally replaced.
Okay,
It's all brand new.
It's Yellow Pond.
Yeah,
which is a little bit harder, but not.
This floor is, this was actually subfloor, it was never really meant to be,
right.
but that up there is actually a hardwood floor that they replaced and put in when they did the renovation.
So we definitely will note that it needs to be repaired, basically, and see where we go from that. I don't know how much rental money we have, but we also have still some American Rescue Plan Act money, so we should be able to.
And also that could be, I don't know if it would be appropriate, but it could be a potential project when the schools do their days of service.
Mhm.
If we had the supplies ready, the rooms cleared out, if it was just a matter of touching up and painting or whatever it would take.
Actually, it looks really nice if you wax it.
Yeah.
When,
But this one here in particular, I mean, we can.
yeah, this one's really on that.
Yeah,
The one upstairs needs a good wax, and it'll be fine.
So, but like that potentially could be something that,
Mhm.
so be thinking about if we know we can get it done.
all right. So thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
All right. So we need board action to approve the minutes of the public hearing and the regular board meeting of December 13th, 2022. Do I hear a motion? So moved. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second,
All right, Jim and Pete. All right, you have the minutes before you. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions? Any discussion? Are you ready to vote?
Mhm.
Right. All in favor, please say aye.
aye.
And I hear no, I can't possibly hear.
to be roll call?
No.
Count.
So the motion passes with full agreement. New business. Okay, this is technically old business, but it's new because we're in a new year. By the way, Happy New Year, everyone. So local law 2023-1, thank you, Carolyn, for catching that it would need to be handled that way. Regulation of parking of motor vehicles on public places. We need board action to approve local law 2023-1, regulation of parking motor vehicle on public places, and this will be a roll call vote. This is truly just a renumbered proposal from December for which we held a public hearing that we would not permit overnight parking in the municipal lot across the street from November 1st to May 1st.
So moved.
Second.
I would like to discuss something.
Yeah,
Sure.
Okay, so is it possible that we actually post at the municipal lot
Oh, yeah.
that it's not going to be plowed? So when somebody parks there, they're under notice that it's not being plowed. I have to catch my breath. Give me a second.
Sure. Are you okay?
Yeah, I just,
Mhm.
okay, so, and then on top of that, we might even ask for a group of students or something to adopt it, to take it upon themselves to keep it shoveled out. But students would basically, that live next door, have a place to park, just knowing that the snow here is so minimal anymore. To limit it from, what is it, November to May, is it, what are the months that are?
November 1st to May 1st.
Yeah, we've had, what, 3 days? And you're talking about a whole 5 months now for something that could happen, maybe a week or something.
No, we will continue to plow. There's no problem. We will plow it. We just can't allow people to park in there because that was the problem. We couldn't plow it because the cars were in the way and we couldn't navigate around the parking lot to be able to do the job without putting the village liable for possible damage to vehicles trying to plow that. But we
Right,
will.
so what if we, instead of plowing it, just had notice up that this area is not.
Well, I
plowed.
think the challenge with that, and I'm not disagreeing with your sentiment, is that that's not our lot, first and foremost, right? We rent it from the Seventh-day Baptist or whoever, maybe Union University now. So I'd have to go back and check what our agreement is with them, but I'm presuming that in that agreement, we say that we would maintain
Right.
clearance of it.
Okay.
That's what I think where the
That's
rub
where
is
our
at that
problem
point.
is.
Yeah,
But I don't know that for certain.
There are
I got
also
that agreement.
spaces set aside for Seventh-day Baptist use, and that continues. And so to not plow it would be violating that agreement that we have with them.
Right, and I didn't know we had an agreement because it would fall upon them then to
Right,
hire
Right.
Snow Hill if they
Right.
want a place for
Mm.
their
Right,
constituents to park.
right.
So, we just met last month and we talked about trying to make Alfred as welcoming to our students as possible. So with Alfred University and Alfred State, and just the importance of the students feeling welcomed and, the easy of
Yeah.
it. So just, we're trying to look at, not restricting parking at a place just because of it might snow for a week and in 4 months.
so, number one, I agree entirely with your sentiment, and it was a similar thing that brought up a different proposal at the December meeting. The issue is that there is no parking on any village street, any village public place, November 1st to May 1st, for exactly the same reasons. And since that is also public access in the same way that Main Street, Church Street, West University, et cetera, are, I think we're going to be in a position of less liability if we return that to the same thing as the rest of the street. And if somebody felt that it was unwelcoming, then we can also really point out that it's something like 16 spaces and at the most, and that it really isn't unwelcoming except to the people who live within walking distance of it, which is a kind of unfair advantage, I think.
Jim, I tried getting in touch with Tom, but I never got back. You had talked to him about potentially Church Street. What was
Right.
the?
It was the
alternate
same
side.
thing.
How so?
It's issue of leaving the cars there overnight and then making sure that they have clear path.
Right,
And
right.
it
But
just-
if it was alternate side,
Right.
then they
Well,
would clear it.
If we could ensure that we would have them, that people that live in the village would comply with that, there would be no problem.
Well, I think if
We're
we
not
post
sure
it and then we
What
we do it, wait, but if it's year round that way, right? We can make it year round that it's alternate side overnight. We just make sure that folks know. Which folks do it in cities all the time. There's alternate sides.
Right.
I mean,
That-
they said no, they wouldn't,
They just didn't feel that they didn't want to deal with two cars having to plow, although they are doing that right now. They just don't plow
right,
the
right.
streets and the parking gets.
So I mean, I don't know, I'd
No,
rather, maybe I can get
There
back.
is no parking, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, to me, if one side is open, then you have two lanes, no matter which day it snows on,
Right,
and you can plow all the way through.
through,
And then the next day, essentially, the cars have to move to the other side, and that side that was plowed in is now available.
okay, so if the cars if they do park
we
illegally,
tow 'em.
then we what?
We have them towed, right?
What's the option there?
Well, you guys have to have a local law for towing
Okay.
vehicles like that, because right now, the only vehicles that we tow or impound are
Okay.
the ones that were used in the commission of a crime. And you're
Okay.
talking about a $20 violation ticket. On your car. Which would cost somebody, right now, the tow company charges $200 and we charge a $50 fee, so even if we waive the $50 fee, that car that's being towed would cost them at
Right.
least $200.
And they get free parking until we take it out, right?
It's 10 days and then they start adding, and then we started adding $5, because it sits down at the sewer plant, which is in Tom's Way. And after 10 business days, we started adding a $5 fee.
So if if we were to do something, which again, is gonna be in the future from now, we'd have to have a public hearing and all that for the law.
I believe
If
so.
we would institute saying that, like that section of church from Main to Mill
Mhm.
would be alternate side, and we would pick the dates and put signage up to say which one they were. Then, like pre-snow, we would ticket any cars that were there overnight and on the wrong side, and then at the point, we would have to have in the law that if there's snow on the ground and they're parked on the wrong side, we would have the ability to tow them then. They were parked on the wrong side overnight.
Well, I can just reflect on what I've
Yeah.
heard from them, and all I can say is that both Tom and Brian were pretty much opposed to the idea. They really feel that their time is pretty valuable, and to wait around for a car to get towed and things like that, they just want to be able to get through.
No, I
get the village,
get it, but I mean, we can say, oh, well, this will be the problem for anything,
Right.
right? What we're effectively doing
Well,
here is taking away.
What problem are we trying to solve by letting people park on the street? Have we had a lot of people complaining that they don't have any place to park?
There's a handful, there's just a small number.
Because that handful, a lot of times you find out, just doesn't want to pay the parking fees on Alfred State
Sure,
or Alfred University.
And I recognize that, but, it would be nice to have somewhere as a municipal resource. And as wide as Church Street is, if it was alternating, I
No.
don't,
The one parking lot that's never full at night, I guess you could, would be the Montessori lot. Now, I know they
Right.
have a lot of kids out in the morning, but if people are only parking at night, you have to move their car in the morning,
right,
there would be a parking lot. you could
Yeah, we
possibly-
couldn't,
that's currently Alfred University.
we could not legally suggest.
Right, but if you had an agreement about the university.
Or this handful, it would seem, could, like there's several parking lots now behind houses on West University that I'm guessing are larger than the number of tenants that they actually can have in that house. Suggest to this handful that they be in touch with landlords of other places that have overnight parking. It sounds much more cruel than I intend it to, but I really don't feel that it's up to the village to provide parking overnight for landlord's convenience. And that's in so many ways what it comes down to, I think.
I'd still like to try and find a solution, so I will reach back out to Tom to have a longer conversation. with him.
I wish I knew, I have a feeling it's probably coming from either the fraternity next door or from the house next door.
Regardless of who it is,
Right,
we can kind of be agnostic to who it is who would need that service. And it's gonna be different people each year, just because of the transient nature of our community. But, I think it's, if it's possible, and I don't think it impossible in this instance, that if we can provide a service as a municipality to do so. And so, I will reach back out to Tom and try to have a longer conversation about it. I mean, again, it'd be something, a future related item, not a today.
well, I think we should, as far as they're concerned, this is.
Sure, no, I agree with that, I
The
understand
parking
that.
lot that
Yeah.
we're voting on right now
Right,
is a priority. I think, like you just said, if we can plan possibly with the of.
yeah,
working
I
out-
certainly respect that having no cars at any time makes it easier. Can't deny that, but that doesn't mean that there isn't another solution that could be amenable
Mhm,
and
I
still
agree.
provide a service.
I know in the past, there's been some landlords that wanted to expand their parking
Mhm.
and were told it didn't comply with zoning.
And
So maybe,
Well, I don't know. Chuck has been very good. I've noticed that a lot of the
It'll depend
rentals
upon the
have
property.
backyard parking.
right, but I'm just saying that, maybe working with that to help them expand their parking,
Mhm.
might be.
But there certainly are units that just don't have spaces and
Sure.
along Main Street and such
Mhm.
that exist that way. Yeah.
It's worth investigating and see if we can't.
Yeah,
get
yeah, I think it's-
Those guys to look at it from a different perspective. Right
Right.
now, they're adamantly opposed to doing the idea, but I think if we can share some sort of
Vision, yeah, that's why, I mean, I tried to call, but I didn't get a call back, and so
Okay,
I didn't get to feel out their exact temperament on it.
well, it's been kind of crazy lately.
No, it's understandable, I know, that's why I'm not
Yeah,
tearing up a lot of it,
Yeah.
just get new pipe in.
Yeah. How many parking spaces are we losing? By the way, this is an annual discussion, at least at Alfred University as well. You know, the demand for parking seems to only increase.
right.
Yeah. Other comments, discussion? Are you ready to vote?
It's a roll call.
It's a roll call vote, and let's see, did I do it alphabetically last time? So I'm gonna start with the reverse. So that's you, trustee Ninos,
I'll vote yea.
trustee McLean.
I'll also vote aye. This is an aye.
All right,
Aye.
yeah, well,
Yea.
I knew, yeah, it's dyslexic. I mean, I never tell the difference between aye and yay.
Yeah.
So you're okay. And trustee Guild,
I vote aye.
thank you, okay. So the motion passes.
Are you aye also?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, I forget that I'm supposed to vote on a roll call.
Okay.
And Chief Griffith, will you order the signs
What signs?
to post the parking lot
overnight.
as?
Usually Tom orders those.
Yeah, Tom
Okay.
will do that.
Tom,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
he does.
I
that.
think actually we have the signs from when it was, the law was from before, so we still have those.
And the law doesn't take effect until the signs are up. We learned that
Right,
on
I
Tuesday-
read
last Thursday.
I
We
did
learned that
read
Thursday
that.
night.
That is very true.
Alright.
So will you? be in
Yeah,
touch
I'll
with
ask Tom to make sure he takes care of that.
Okay.
Okay, so I know we just passed it,
Yeah,
but we're not gonna allow parking there, even though it's not gonna snow for the rest of the year. I mean, when do we want this to start?
I think that literally the sooner the better, so that we don't end up with confusion and problems. So, yeah, as soon as we can put the signs up.
So welcome back, students, find a new place to park or walk from the
Yeah,
campus. Okay.
yeah. It would
Just
have been,
wanted to
the-
be clear.
yeah. Okay, what is next? We need board action to raise the part-time police officer pay rate to, and we will fill in that number per hour, and the part-time police officer holiday pay rate per hour, effective January 11th, 2023. Current rate is $17.42 per hour, and holiday rate is currently $25 per hour. We had discussed something closer to $20 an hour in the 19 range. And I don't think we had discussed holiday, but I would love to hear proposals for hourly amount for both regular part-time and payday or holiday part-time. Gentlemen, for recommendation.
Well, most of the PDs right now in the county for part-time are between $19 to $20. Some, like Steuben County is way higher. We just lost about 6 of our part-time to other agencies. Not strictly due to pay. A lot of guys were going full-time, getting other jobs, but pay is always a factor for retaining people or getting new ones. Some PDs have had enough of a time that even back PD, I think right now is paying part-time, depending on your years of service, $39. Yeah. So it's becoming, as more part-timers get short, the more places are willing to pay to keep them here. As it is, we've got about 6 or 7 shifts next month, part-time shifts, that we can't fill. Because our part-time situation. So, yeah, the $19 to $20 an hour, I think would be reasonable. I think Wellsville right now is at 20, and they're the highest in the county. Everybody else is like 19.50, 19.25, 19, whatever they're in there. So yeah, that's where I would recommend we go between 19 and 20.
Do you have any budget concerns or?
There's always budget concerns.
So I send you antacids?
But we need to have people in the positions, right?
Yeah,
So.
well, I would leave it open to debate, but I would say, what about $20 per hour for the regular part-time and 27 per hour for holiday? And we can separate that into two different discussions if you'd like.
Mhm.
Well, if you're raising that by 250, raise it only by 250, basically make it 2750, 20 and 2750, I don't know.
Okay,
Okay.
just for convenience sake, do you mind going to 20? I feel like I'm bidding. How about 28 for the holiday?
Sure.
So our proposal on the table is 20
20,
for the regular
Okay.
part-time and 28 for the holiday.
okay.
Any discussion?
I think it's reasonable considering part-time does not include any benefits.
That's right.
No, they don't.
You know, that's the reason there are part-timers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Paul pointed out at our last meeting that if a full-time person somewhere else is working part-time here and they get hurt here, it's the
Right.
compensation.
So that happened a few years ago, an officer who worked full-time for Andover, worked part-time for us, and he broke his thumb. In his workman's comp is based on what he made here, not in Andover. So yeah, every little bit does help.
Mhm.
Because he did get work, he ended up going back to work with his thumb wrapped up, because he was making, I think, like literally $50 a week for his comp.
Hmm.
So yeah, is he part-time here? Is it a lot of places part-time is, 20 hours a week. Sometimes it may be 20 hours a week. Sometimes it might be no part-time are working like in the summer. It varies. We don't have like a strict part-time schedule for our part-timers. So some will make more, some will make less. It depends on their availability and the shifts they're open to.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a
Okay.
second?
Second.
Thank you. All right. It has been moved and seconded. If you accept this motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We'll let you say yay. And I hear impossible.
It's
opposition.
happier, yay.
All right. Okay, very good. Part-time police officer appointment. We need board action to appoint Matthew Heller as a part-time police officer at the rate of.
Do we use the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
$20
They didn't put that in because they didn't know what the new rate was gonna be.
Yeah, right. So at $20 per hour, all right. Effective January 11th, 2023.
so moved.
Oh, boy. You are speedy.
Is there a second?
I heard Lorette say second.
I'm sorry. Okay, excellent. So we don't need to outline Matt Heller's
I don't trust him.
qualifications. Yeah.
If you know Matt, then, yeah, he's been an officer for, I think, 27 years for UPD.
Chief
And,
too.
He was chief for a while. He went back to lieutenant, and then he's retiring in a month or two. I asked him if he'd come to work for us, and he's like, "Yeah."
That's nice.
Yeah. I
Pretty
retired.
amazing.
I retired and Paul never asked me to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Well, at this point, anybody.
Okay, all right, so moved and seconded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right,
Aye.
yeah, all right, and it is unanimous. Okay, We need board action to approve Jeffrey Kuhn as election inspector and Megan Kuhn as alternate for the Republican Party, and Lee Kessa as election inspector, and Walter Mason as alternate for the Democratic Party, all at a rate of, okay.
You gotta figure that out.
Yeah, minimum wage is now $14.20 an hour.
1420.
$13 last year.
And they work all day, right?
Mhm.
11:32.
Is that noon? Does
Yeah.
it start? noon?
Yeah, 11:30 to
To-
whenever the polls close,
9
which is that 9?
9 o'clock in the
Yeah.
count together.
Yeah.
9:30, 10 o'clock, whatever.
And minimum wage was 13.20 11 days ago, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 13 something, I can't remember.
Yeah.
1320.
It was 13.20, so it went up $1. So we should go up at least $1.
Okay, so 16,
So, I don't know, 16 and a quarter. I don't know,
1650.
16, works for me.
16.50 per hour. Okay. So just to review, Jeffrey Kuhn and Megan Kuhn as alternate for Republican Party, and Lee Kessa as election inspector, and Walter Mason as alternate for the Democratic Party at the rate of $16.50 per hour.
Okay,
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? We sort of have, haven't we?
Okay, Jim. And
And Carolyn, I think these are the same 4 people that were,
No, these are, Lee has been here before, but the other people are brand new. There wasn't.
Okay.
Aware.
I don't remember the cruise number.
I don't know those guys.
Lee Kessa and Walter Mason are partners.
Yeah.
And
No, I know that. I
But the
that
Coons,
Coons. I
yeah.
don't know.
And the election is March the 22nd, 21st,
Tuesday.
Tuesday the 21st.
Craig's in my wedding anniversary. First day of spring. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, please.
Aye.
Lorette, I want to give you a chance.
I raised my hand.
Jim is just gonna say yay and raise his hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay and nay.
Tie that one well, isn't
I
it?
want to do a nay. When's the last time we nayed? Oh, we nayed last.
Yeah,
Last month.
last
We
month,
nayed.
absolutely.
Okay, I had my ears pulled.
Coursing around. Okay, police contract with the town of Alfred. Board action to authorize the mayor to sign the 2023 agreement for police protection services with the town of Alfred for $41,552 paid in equal monthly payments.
So move.
Lorette said second.
Second.
Okay,
Is it the same amount as last year?
It's about $1,500-$1,600 more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know that. I feel much better with that knowledge.
yeah.
Matt, are you good with that?
There we go.
Okay.
I know, I don't have the exact amount on hand, you know?
Conversation with Dan Acton, he's very much
Yeah.
in favor of this. Do you have any comments that you'd like to add?
I don't really, it's been the same for what, the last 7, 8 years now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think everything's working out. If it works for you guys, it works for me.
Well, it's a different, you respond to any emergency, right?
Yeah, the way I think it's kind of written is anything that a rapid police intervention could make better, we go through.
Yeah.
Like the car accidents today up on Pendon Road, because the town trucks were broke down, and everything this morning was black ice
Yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah.
Almost took out a tow truck, a police car, 2 police officers, and like 3 people when a tractor trailer came down through there and slid towards us, yeah.
Wow.
The only thing turning on the truck were the front tires. Everything else was locked up.
Oh.
Yeah, it was fun.
and the ambulance wasn't there.
No, nobody was hurt. The initial car that went into the ditch did it at about 2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
She was stuck like this, and we went up to get her towed out, and the guy was hauling steel to Bradley's in Cornell, coming over Jericho, and his GPS took him down Canyon, because he didn't know anybody. He didn't know he could just keep driving straight. Yeah, It was like literally that close from picking us up.
Wow.
I'm so grateful it didn't happen,
Me too.
you know? Now, if Caitlin Brown were here and that were in your report, she'd be pretty
No, yeah,
excited. All right,
Oh, if there's ever a situation like that, we need sand, just give me a call.
Well, yeah, Brian Dodge came up with the truck, but apparently the town truck broke down, or a couple of them broke down. They went to get parts. They took a truck to have something repaired and drop it off. So it took two of them. And one of the guys is out on vacation or sick or something. So they weren't available. And really, the weather wasn't bad early this morning.
right,
And all of a sudden, about 8 o'clock, the wind started blowing a little bit and the temperatures dropped on the roads and
Yeah.
everything froze over.
Yeah, my
Fire
driveway
accidents
was
everywhere.
crazy.
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
very weird.
And the minute you hit a little bit of sand on it, like that little 1 ton up and down the hill, boom, no problem. Done. Everything was good.
Yeah.
Life was better.
Yeah,
Crazy.
It was crazy though.
all right, we have a motion on the floor, yes?
Mhm.
Further discussion? Ready to vote? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Jim actually said aye as well, and I heard Lorette.
I'm gonna aye.
You're doing well.
I'm conforming.
Oh. All right, and we need to set budget workshop dates.
So we fund them.
What do you want?
We've traditionally done 3, is that right?
Something that.
What date
Did you say? Thursday?
we're looking.
We've done mornings, I'm just,
Yeah.
Yeah,
my calendar that far back is not updated. yet, so it's updated. It's no fun.
How about the 27th? You want it Friday or Thursday? Or do we want to jump into February?
Yeah, just so you guys know, Monica's on vacation that last week.
Ah, that's right.
The 24th, the 23rd to the 27th.
Yeah, she needs to be here.
Of January.
yeah.
Yeah, she's on south, she's smart.
Yeah.
In Orlando.
Yeah. Should bring us back. some
Here
more.
comes the sun. What about, it's not too far away, but what about the 19th or the 20th? Or we could latch on, no, Monica's down the 24th, so.
I got, that morning, I got that hazard mitigation plan
Which one?
on the 19th, on Thursday.
Okay,
So we've got like first week of February or.
yeah.
Because we want to vote on this one in March,
Yeah,
We vote it in
April.
Yeah, yeah, when you first got the new board members, that's
Right,
when
right.
it goes. So you really have February and March.
But we have to have a public hearing
Hearing.
before then,
Right,
We usually have it that night.
that night in April.
Yeah,
yeah, we've done that. We did that last year.
but our budget workshops are also public meetings, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
So noting that the first week of February is also a week of transition for the village
right.
office and so forth, that maybe I would push back toward the 19th of January for the first one.
Right, so what, typically, what's the
I
first?
won't be here.
you know, so
I'm not
that-
available
yeah,
for
there's a big
January.
no.
Oh,
I'm not available
Yeah.
in January.
Okay, all right. Okay. February 1st.
How about the following week,
Well,
the 23rd to the 27th?
I think that's when
Anything in there?
Monica's.
yeah, she's
Oh,
gonna. go back.
Monica's gone, that's right, okay. So that leaves us right to retirement day.
Yeah.
You don't have to come to the meeting.
Thank you. That's very kind. The first would be my last day, and the
There you
second
go.
is the actual, for this retirement system.
I got you.
You could do it on that Thursday.
Yeah. We do 8 AM.
On the second,
For me, I don't know if it's
Yeah.
for anyone else.
I
Right?
just have,
February the 2nd.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, and we'll check with Meredith. I'm pretty sure that that'll be okay.
Um,
And that'll be 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now typically that one is the one where we're kind of collecting
Mhm.
any
Right.
needs and wants from the different departments and putting that all together.
And then for 1 hour. right?
February the 2nd.
February 2nd, right? That's what I got. 8 a.m. And then PM. 8 a.m. Okay,
Oh, it's groundhog.
I'm good.
I asked.
Say
her.
so. Oh,
I just
it's there.
What time?
Eight.
So that, and then I feel like, well, then the rest of the month goes sideways. So
Okay,
into March, if we did like the 2nd and the 16th, then I think we could have it all together, ready to go by the time we had April coming around, you know what I mean?
the 2nd,
So if we did three, yeah, March 2nd and March 16th, we just plotted those ones out at 8 a.m. as well.
Okay,
And hopefully these work for Meredith.
yeah.
Um,
I will check on her teaching.
The good news is, if we're looking at, if we do the 2nd to get that first pass together, then we can work some stuff up and I can send it out to everyone. We have our meeting on the 14th of February. I won't be here, but I appreciate you all you do this anyway. And then if we need to adjust so that Meredith can be there in March, we can pick new dates.
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
So we're gonna do the 15th as well, you say?
Mm-mm.
16th.
2nd and 16th, right? Is that what you said?
Mhm.
Yeah,
16th?
I don't think we should do a budget meeting in the Ides of March. Alrighty, so.
The one on March 2nd may have to be quick.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll figure that out.
I'd like calendar the way it used to be.
Me too.
well, I'm still on paper, folks. Okay, so we have set the dates of February 2nd, March 2nd, March 16th, all at 8 a.m. And I will check with the other board member. All right,
Okay,
and Pete has noted that February 2nd might need to be quick.
No, March
No?
2nd.
Oh, March 2nd,
I'm
okay.
seeing that my son has a dentist appointment at
It's a-
some point in that
we're
morning.
only, we usually only go an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the one on March 2nd may have to be a half hour, I don't know. I don't know what time his dentist appointment starts, but it's.
We go.
and safe time, safe driving.
That's right.
All right, working groups and committee, town board attendance, January 12th.
That's me.
Thank you. Thank you. Alfred Committee on Equity and Safety. And Alfred Community Coalition.
I showed up on Friday and no one was there.
I've showed up a few Fridays and nobody's there. Everyone argues.
Spencer and I talked and that was our time. I told you how the telephone went.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
good.
fine. Okay, so they should be the second Friday of every
The
month.
second Friday.
But because of scheduling things last semester, the October, November, and December were the first Friday of each month.
Oh,
And I did.
I
send
mean to make
emails,
them, but every time I go on, it's like, there's nobody here.
Nobody here, you know, and I have been derelict in that. I just got home and will send a request for this coming Friday for the first one.
That would be helpful for me.
Yeah.
Okay. That's for the coalition, right?
Yep.
And that-
But we did leave it in December that the planning for Hot Dog Day will begin with this group, and both colleges obviously participating, and that they would like a representative of the village to serve on the Hot Dog Day.
I've already got those. I'm like, there's one tomorrow. It already started, so I'm
Oh,
on it.
so you're on it?
I'm doing
Okay.
it.
And
I won't be able to be there in the morning of hot dog. I told them that, but they can't plug me in to do something on hot dog day, but I'll help them
right.
get to hot dog day.
And
Good.
I am also looking to the fire company, ambulance company for one, if not two, people to serve.
Got it.
Working on Nancy Furlong and Zach Hom. They would both like to do code, but have the other person do it all by themselves. But Nancy will more than likely end up being incident commander for that time, and so she's the most logical. All right, cool. Reports, Lorette.
Okay, well, I guess just to bounce off of what we're talking about that day, I don't know if the idea is to have a fix-it day. And it could happen at the same time as the hot dog day, I'm not sure, or if we want this separate, but basically Stanford did it, and the university and our trade school really led to this. So it would be different, like small engines, where people who would be able to repair an item in that category, whether or not they're going to take a donation or volunteer time. But it's just going to be an event where, not that we have clocks anymore, but, somebody's trade of how to fix a lawnmower or something like that. And we just come together and people can line up and, visit each booth that offers that type of fix-it. So it went really well in Stanford, and I really like to see our community come together. We have a lot of resources with students who are learning different trades, and also our local tradesmen that might want to share their time or just have something donated. So I don't know, if that's going to look like we want to do that during hot dog day, or if we want just something separate. So a lot of planning. But
Yeah, it
just
might be hard to pull some of the help away from hot dog day activities, so. But I mean, it could be a good program on another separate day. I know Alfred State has an area in their student leadership center, which is called the Hopper, the hands-on project room. And they have it all set up so they could do kind of like car work in there or other types of things,
Oh, wow.
And so I think that's, like, could be a possibility. And that's pretty close to like,
Yeah.
it could be one stop along a number of different kinds of.
So, yeah, I mean, if we wanted to spread it out through Alfred,
Yeah.
instead of just have everybody
Yeah.
gather on the grass or something.
Yeah.
Then we could actually offer more.
Yeah,
So, it would be student experience and also a community event.
Sure.
So.
That's a
Okay.
great idea. So hot dog day, as I understand it,
22nd?
thank you.
April
That's what I have it. Yeah.
That's right.
22nd.
April.
April. And I don't know if you want to think about Loretta fix-it day that's just before or just after.
I mean, the later you go, the more likely are the weather's actually nice.
Right.
So like, if you're gonna be outside, then the 29th might be decent.
Yeah, you don't want to get too close to finals. Hot dog day is actually right before finals where all the kids have to buckle down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we're not going to do it, I would probably do it before,
Mm.
or, even if we have to wait. Now we really have to make sure that the students are available to do this. We don't really want to,
Sure.
compound their requirements. This is something they're volunteering their time maybe. And so, okay. And then the other thing is Larry Newberg, I think that's how you say his last name. I haven't contacted yet, but it should be schools reconvening next week.
Yeah, I think the
right?
faculty have to be back on Thursday of this week at Alfred State.
Okay, so it was discussed last month at the community meeting that basically a webpage where the different businesses could highlight their business in, picturesque form opposed to just social media, excuse me. So, yeah. I think I'm done talking.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So classes start on both campuses
Nope.
Tuesday.
Alfred University started on Tuesday. Alfred State, they start the following Monday.
Okay, so AU is the 17th of January, and then A State is the 23rd. Does that sound right?
Correct. That is correct.
All right, thank you.
Is that right?
That is certainly correct.
So you.
It
I've
feels
been
like
over
a
both
very,
calendars many
yeah,
times.
feels like a very late start, but
Mhm.
yeah, that's what it is. So, okay, and I think your point is well taken about hot dog day is the weekend before the last week of classes.
Yeah.
And so indeed, a lot
Might
of
be the
them
second
do.
last week of classes for Alfred
Right.
State, because if they're starting a week later.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But you end up doing graduation the same day as
Yeah.
AU somehow.
Somehow, there's no senior week.
Wow,
Okay, all right.
well, that's a good idea.
Um,
It's usually,
Meredith is up next, and I didn't see any report from her.
well, the only, I could share a little bit about the playground that I shared with
Yeah.
you. We, last time we had a 21st century group meeting and Sean Highland was there, and tapped me on the back shoulder and mentioned to me that he had just been in our playground and looked at it, and he said, there's a lot of things that need some serious attention, and he would like to go in there and do that. So if we can help him with materials, he will donate his services to go in there and do the work to get it back up. He said there's a lot of things that he sees that would be easy fixes and things that need to be some serious attention. They also talked about possibly incorporating some terracotta in there on some of the roofs of
That'd be
the little
great.
towers and things like that. So that was kind of fun. So I also tossed in the idea if he might be interested in helping us out on Pine Hill Drive and putting together, designing some sort of a playground that wouldn't be a shake and bake type, something that he would design and build for the village, and he's thrilled.
That's awesome.
So-
That's great.
So
And he
I
is
recommended
talented.
that he talk to Meredith and Justin, who have been working on this. And I know that last time I talked to both of them, they hadn't really come up with any ideas, and maybe this will help them at least get the ball going and come up with some ideas. So,
Excellent.
and he's quite a craftsman.
Absolutely.
And adding to Village Hall, any help anybody can give me, I'm trying to locate the right people to talk about whether or not we have lightning rods on the building and whether or not we need them, given our experience of, was it 2015? And
Right.
the other thing is that it's pretty evident that the Village Hall, police, et cetera, need a much improved telephone system. So,
Yeah.
so going to work on that. And just as a heads up, I would end up proposing that we spend some of our American Rescue Plan Act money on both of these things.
Mhm.
So contributing to better infrastructure. Okay. Anything more reported for Meredith?
No,
So I hope she's doing well and having a wonderful
Mhm.
time in Nicaragua. Okay, as mayor, again, fire and ambulance have been fairly quiet, and I'm glad we didn't get a call this morning. So,
Close.
yeah, it sounds like it was way too close. I don't know if there's anything we can do with GPS sending people down these back roads.
No, there's really not, because it depends on how they select things, closest distance,
Mhm.
fastest, whatever.
Avoiding
you know,
tolls.
Avoiding
Yeah.
tolls.
Yeah,
If the GPS knows that there's an accident, it will reroute you. So there's really not a good way to avoid it.
in Vermont, northern Vermont, traffic that wants to go through Smuggler's Notch. The GPS is wrong, that tractor trailer trucks can fit through there, and the narrow road and the curves around huge rocks. And so they have, coming from the west, probably 20 of these big blinking signs, truckers, your GPS is
okay.
wrong, no.
Yeah.
And I would assume we can't do anything
Well,
with that.
typically a tractor trailer going down the road is not an issue,
Right,
just going downhill, slippery. we were there, stopped, he comes around the corner,
Yeah,
and he couldn't stop.
right.
Yeah, it was, I don't wanna say it's a once in a, but it doesn't happen every day.
No,
It wasn't a fault of the road or anything, it was a fault of the weather.
yeah.
All right.
Yep. Okey dokey. The other thing is that I'm going to request of the assembled board members that we make an appointment for very soon, for at least a 1 hour conversation. I'll announce here, Carolyn Hasper has tendered her resignation effective February 1st. I accepted it with regret because she's been so amazing. But we do need to figure out how we will now, if necessary, restructure the office, and that might also include some hirings. And so we have a lot of work to accomplish in the next essentially 3 weeks. So that will be something I hope we can set a time and date after this meeting, unless you want to try to do it right now. How about your son's dentist appointment? What's your pleasure on that? We really do need to have some time to talk together in executive session.
Okay. Yeah.
Do it now.
Monday's a holiday. I don't know if people are around.
Martin Luther King holiday,
I could do it Monday.
Monday, the 16th.
17th, right?
It's the
Do we
16th.
need input from
Oh, hold on.
Monica or
There we
anybody?
go.
I've
And then-
collected information, but all of you can chat with each of them as well.
Okay, no, I mean, she's not going to come in on the day off. I mean.
Oh, no, this is just
It's
us.
about
It's just,
Okay.
This is just us.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
this is a surprise party.
These are your hours of employment.
All
Yeah,
right, that's a day off, so I'm sleeping in.
yeah,
So that cuts out everything before 10 a.m.
16th is great with me.
Yeah.
If we-
no, what do you like?
I don't know. So
I'm-
you want to do before lunch? Or you want to do it after lunch?
After lunch.
After
Okay.
lunch,
So
Okay.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
1
Alright.
o'clock, okay.
All right. And I will pull together an agenda and send it out to all of you. All right, and meet. So Carolyn and Monica, you won't be in on Monday, is that correct?
I was gonna work because Tuesday I can't work.
Okay,
I was gonna just get work done over there.
sure. So we can meet.
We just right here.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Here.
So,
Okay.
Yep.
big time.
1 o'clock,
Mhm.
Monday, the
Monday.
16th.
16th,
I'm not gonna take off.
6 days from now.
Good deal.
6 days in January.
Okay, and then we've gotten some really good information from local homeowners. It seems as though when it has snowed, things have accumulated in backyards of places, trash, beer cans. And when the snow melts, of course, that is revealed. And Chuck is following up on all of that. But also I have to point out Chuck has been ill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask, how is he doing?
Yeah,
Um,
I've talked to him and his wife, and I mean, he's recovering. It's slow. He's had some testing that
Yeah.
just went on just recently, but
Right.
it's gonna be on and off. We're just gonna have to be patient, I think.
Okay.
We didn't get a report today.
yes, there was one in email for the year,
Oh, for the
Yeah.
year? Okay. I didn't get it.
Okay.
Forgot to send it to you.
Well, I'll check. And that's sort of it for me. It's your turn.
Wonderful. As I mentioned, hot dog day planning is underway, meeting tomorrow on that. At the moment, of course, we're intending to have the parade and activities along Main Street. Alfred University is looking to have a concert again. in the
When you
evening.
say activities, you talking about festival?
Yeah,
Like
the,
they used to do,
yes, exactly.
not on the campuses.
Well,
Wow.
I think that, it'll bleed onto the campuses, like, whether
Well, that changes my plans if we're shutting down Main Street,
Sure, yeah, I think that's our intention, is to have Main Street shut down.
which is good.
Yeah.
I just, you know.
Yeah.
The sooner I know about it, the more better.
Know about it now.
I know it's talked about, I just,
Yeah.
I didn't hear.
That's what we're, again, if more information and the plans actually move away from that, I'll keep you posted
Okay.
from here. Alfred State, I believe, is still looking to spend their money they would have spent on a large act, to instead bring back the kind of carnival atmosphere they had last year. Not sure the timing of that. Again, this is just the ideas. And then Alfred University to hopefully have a larger act. So it would kind of be staged throughout the day of activity. Again, all that tentative, and they're working through trying to find what kind of artists could come in, and could they get the carnival type things back, and where they stage it and all that. So that's at its early stages at the moment. So that'll be good. We may want to look if we can find one of the students to be in charge of the parade coordination, like we have in the past. We've had a stipend for that. So I'll bring that forward and find out if there's any interest in having one of the, usually it's one of the like seniors or something that's been around a while to do that kind of thing. So that's there. Last month, we talked shortly about some tech upgrades that had been put off because they were just about to start them in like January, February of 2020, and then everything went sideways. So Shane is ready to do that. He just wants to know who the point of contact with the village should be. I didn't know if it should be you, if it should be Monica or whatnot, if Shane isn't here. Either of you two, three have a thought?
I'm around.
You're around. You want me to give him your information then to be the contact, or would you rather have Monica be the contact, or I don't know?
Probably best to keep it centrally located with Monica, but I could.
Is that okay with you, Monica?
I would be more than willing to do whatever you need to have done to be assist
I'll
you.
put slash.
The two of you slash, well, I'll give them both your names, so if he contacts
Right,
both of you, then, so we'll do that.
We can tag
This
team that.
is the-
Yes.
right.
That's good. Okay.
Student council president.
No, Shane is the guy in charge of computer solutions. Is that his name? That name of the
The
company?
shield car that's. part of
Yeah, the shield card.
Okay.
That everybody calls me on.
I looked
Yeah.
it up. I didn't call you. I just looked it
MCU.
up.
Did you look it up?
Yeah.
Marvel's Agents of Shield.
Been having, working with Dan Acton to get a letter written together, we get out to the local businesses about that section of money that ESD wants spent on kind of the businesses along Main Street and 244. So once we have that language out, we can get that hopefully out to the different businesses, and ongoing discussions. As we mentioned was it last month we mentioned it? I don't know, the university and the college are interested in lending their support toward the maintenance of the sidewalk.
Right.
So I know there's conversations that Dan has been having with each of those entities as well. So
Yeah.
that's kind of.
And I haven't heard anything from either of the presidents about next month's meeting. with
Right,
this-
with all of them, yeah, neither have I,
Mm-hmm.
so.
But that's another email I will be sending.
Okay, good. And then lastly, on Thursday night, Jim and I were there with the planning board, had their meeting. I think Pat's still probably here. Good. And there was more of a work session. They didn't have any applications. So they continued to look a little bit at the parking code section 304, and they're more talking about it. Some of the committee work wasn't done on that, but they condensed that handbook for the landlords that was, I think it was something Virginia put together, just that was massive, down to what would be 4 pages front back. They're still looking to do some more editing, and then Justin recommended we might find like a graphic design student or something like that can make it so that it's not just words on a page, so that it flows, so that it's useful, and then we can get those out to each of the landlords. And I had mentioned it when we didn't have our community coalition meeting on Friday with Spencer, that it might be something that we could hand out to the students when they want to live off campus. And he was amenable to that. Anything we want to be able to get into their hands, or if it's a link that we push them to or something, that kind of thing. he was in agreement with it.
That'd be awesome.
So coordinating with that, the sort of proposed lease.
Yeah.
thing,
And so I think that could be the kind of thing that we could give to the landlords and have mentioned in the handbook that any of the students who wanted to could then follow the link and we have that on the website, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it could be something that was interconnected, where it's a lot of sections. How, the reason they cut it out was, okay, here's some top line information you know about
Right.
different codes. And if you want to know more, here's the link to go to our website to see all the village
Okay,
kind of codes and regulations.
and the proposed or sort of universal lease idea
Mhm.
would also be something to be handed to students with the idea, these are things
To
that
think
should
about.
be in the lease
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
sign,
okay,
you know,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
read it. you know.
Sure, sure.
Okay, so, and we may have that ready within a couple of weeks.
Oh, good.
So,
So,
and the planning board wants.
I
to
didn't know
take
if
it.
Pat wanted to mention anything that I didn't from my report.
You're muted, Pat.
I just asked her.
Yeah, I want to clarify that when I put it together, I used a very small font, so I don't know if that was so I could get it condensed into a small number of pages. But also I wanted to mention that the last 2 pages are really for posting in the rental. So they're really it's for the students to have posted someplace, fire safety and building safety. It really isn't part of the package for the landlords. It's in addition.
Got it.
We really have narrowed it down to a few pages.
Excellent.
And we're looking forward to what we want to discuss in the future. And I wanted to run by the board what the board thinks about having in our code something about restricting or regulating 5G.
Hmm.
This was a letter from lawyers that they said some municipal people are trying to get ahead of the possibility of irresponsible placement of Wi-Fi facilities.
So Matt, I don't know if this is germane, but I think it is. The town has declared a moratorium on 5G until there's more scientific information available. And because we're part of the town,
Okay.
I think we have to live with that moratorium.
Now, with that said, there is a chunk of the village, which is part of the town, that is state land. And so I think that would supersede us if they decided they were gonna put up towers there.
If the state.
No, it would, I think we need to agree with the town. I don't think.
Yeah, I
that
agree.
Just because we are part of the town with that agreement, I think it separates us.
Yeah.
Because of the corporation.
No, but I also think that we don't have jurisdiction over a chunk of land.
Pretty sure you do as far as building is concerned. Zoning.
So because there's a moratorium in the town, we would be under this same moratorium. But if they decide to lift that moratorium, are we going to go with them or do we want to look at it ourselves?
I think that's a fair question, and I honestly don't know what the answer is, but perhaps we should, as a village.
And that could be something, Pat, that you could gauge the temperature of the planning board to find out, do they have a direction, or maybe they've done some research that points them one way or another, or they have general zones that they would think could be more amenable to other, you know, there could be certain ideas to be brought forward.
I think it might be a good idea to work with the town planning board. That would be with Fred Sinclair and Bill. And maybe get some ideas of where they're coming from, because I think most of the information that the town is working from is with, in conjunction with the planning board and Fred Sinclair. Is that right?
That's
Would you
correct. And I think what you said is correct, Jim. I don't think the town law covers the village
Right,
because of the separation of corporation.
right.
Because like if you guys have a building permit, it doesn't have to abide by
Right.
zoning or building laws. So I think you guys are separate on that.
Yeah.
Our moratorium was just extended for 6 months.
With the more.
But that'll be the end of it.
But if Alfred State wants to put up a 5G tower, you can't stop it,
Can't stop them.
just like the one in
Yep.
the state.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, they have their own tower?
They don't have, not 5G.
No, but they have.
So yeah,
Which-
on top of EJ, I believe. Yeah. Yeah.
Those transmitters are very low. They're like streetlight level transmitters. They're not on towers.
Right. Well, I mean, and again, the tower that's on EJ Brown isn't much of a tower. It's just that
Right,
because you're high enough up by the company, that you have directional signal to the
right.
village.
I would also mention the town has imposed the moratorium while we're crafting a law.
Right.
And there is at least exploratory interest in an attorney who is very well versed in this. But it's relatively expensive to have them craft the law. So if there was interest in working together,
Right.
Mhm.
share the cost.
That's true.
Mm,
It's a good point.
Thought.
Yeah,
Right.
no, it's not bad.
Okay, I'm trying to get some kind of prioritizing. And another thing that's come up to my attention is what Wellsville did recently as far as restricting camping in public places.
We already have, and Chuck would be the person to talk about this, that I believe we have an ordinance that does not permit camping within the village limits for more than 3 days on someone's personal property with permission. In other words, I can have my kids come visit me and sleep in a tent, but they can't be in that tent for more than 3 days. And I think the same is true about motor vehicles as well, campers and so forth. But Chuck this came up during that whole tiny house discussion as well. And Chuck would be very familiar with what our ordinances are with that.
Okay. And when is the email shift?
So that'll be
all
with Shane.
Shane, yeah.
That once I pass on the information.
I don't think we have a date on that or a timeline at all. I think we're still working on putting that information. It has something to do with our office lease that we have with Microsoft.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Were you the last? No, James Ninos, and then
Yes,
Chief of Police.
okay.
So
I'll
it's
be-
James Ninos right now.
Okay, and I'm gonna be brief. Most of the information is right here, and if you want to read it, you get your programs while they last. But anyhow, we have a few things going on in the village, and I kind of spelled it out here. Last month, we for the last few months, we have been incredibly fortunate, I guess, to be able to get a greater portion of our water system replacement finished by Blue Heron. We originally had planned to only do Hillcrest Drive, and we got that done in September and moved on to finish. We have High Street pretty much most of the work done. It just, we have to do the cleanup portion on High Street, Randolph Road. We've cut up through from South Main Street up to Sale Street. And we, at the present time, we're working our way toward, we've done most of Sale Street, and we're on the hairpin right now at Peter McLean's house to work our way around the corner. And we supposedly, now I'll find out tomorrow because we have a meeting, but supposedly we're going to stop it at the end of the hairpin and start again at the water tank at the top of Nevin Street and work back and make the connection at the hairpin. That may have changed because I've noticed they've gone further down Pine Hill Drive than they had mentioned at the last meeting. Okay, another thing that was brought up is the the next portion of this thing that has not been bid out yet, and that is the water line going from Alfred Station, Shaw Road, which has where our two wells are, and that would be the one at the end of Shaw Road and 21, and the other well is located at the town barns at the barn office. We'll be running new water line along the road, along 244 and the Shaw Road, and joining up with North Main Street and making the connections at Terrace Street. That's all planned out for this summer. Our water tank is planned for the summer. For those of you that have noticed, the bridge has started today. This week, they've taken the trees out and will go, because of the mild winter so far, they're gonna start work probably prior to graduation. Originally, they were gonna wait till graduation to start, but it looks like maybe things are gonna get going quicker than we thought, primarily because they did take those trees out. We have our 2 volts, the water meter for Alfred University. We're waiting for the actual meter piece to go to install, but Alfred University will have their own water system, metered water system at probably by the end of this month. And it'll be metered at Pine Street and at the end of Nevins next to the playground. There's a vault that they put in there too. So those 2 places will be finished up and we'll have that system in place. We did have a discussion. Tom has had a discussion recently. I've put it emergency, but that really isn't the case. We've had a lot of situations this past prior to Christmas and during Christmas of shutting off water. A lot of people had water breaks in their homes, and it was somewhat of a strain on our DPW because it's not just a simple fix. We ended up digging probably somewhere between 2 to 3 feet down to find the shutoff valves, primarily because most of them are in the tree lawn. And we have continually added soil to the tree lawn, and that shutoff has become a real problem. We are more than set up. If people will make an appointment with us to shut the water line off, we're willing to do this. We have a problem with emergencies, and it's not really emergencies. I think if it was a true emergency, we would do everything we could to shut the water off. If a house is flooding as a result of broken pipes, we would do everything. The thing is that the issue that we have is people are waiting, they're working on their water systems or doing something, and they're waiting to the last minute when their crews are all there to call us up and come in. And it's put us into a situation where we've gone into overtime, a lot of overtime as a result of trying to locate the line. And in a lot of cases, we just had a problem on South Main Street where we dug it in and the root system of one of the trees had totally wrapped it and preventing us to shut down the water, which was not an emergency, but she had her crew there working and they were waiting for our team to get in there. And it took us 3 days to finally be able to do that. Well, Tom is asking if in that situation that we could establish a policy where we would charge 100, maybe somewhere in the $150 range to shut water off in the case of a last minute decision where somebody calls and says, yes, let's do that. I don't think when he called it an emergency, I don't think that's what he really had in mind. I think it was the people that waited to the last minute to do the work.
To then make a request that,
To have that. So if we can encourage people to pre-plan when it is and give our crew enough foresight so that they can get in there and get prepared for something like this, I think it'll make a huge difference.
So when a request is made, does it go to the village clerk or?
Well,
does
it
go
would
straight
either go to the clerk or directly to Tom.
Okay. So is there a way we can publicize a, you
Oh,
know,
I'm sure we could
3-day?
probably get it in.
I am confused as what we're even talking
Right.
about.
So I think it sounds like
Well, we
someone
need-
wants to have work done on their house
Right.
and they need their water turned off.
Right,
And if they haven't contacted us ahead of time to say, I'm bringing a contractor in to have work done, and the day that the contractor shows up,
Right.
they call up and say, we need the water shut off right now.
Okay, so this has
Right.
nothing to do with the water project whatsoever.
Right.
Right.
Because we need to be aware, we're putting
Right.
our residents out.
Right.
And we're trying to, make it.
to eliminate that last minute decision to turn off the water and ask us to respond.
Okay,
So it sounds like we need to write a policy. about
Right.
this. Then we would need to have
I could
a
put some-
public hearing or something.
Right.
And then
So could
adopt
it just
it.
be a resolution?
Yeah, it would be a resolution.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a
Yeah,
policy, not a
that'd be
law.
great if it could be a resolution.
Yeah, it would be.
Like a policy, we do the investment policy.
Oh, okay.
area Policies.
Right.
It could be a
Oh, okay,
policy
okay.
Like that, it just pass by
Yeah, yeah.
resolution. but
Yeah, I checked
something I
with-
agree it written out.
Yeah, it needs to be
So, yeah.
identified so we can
Right.
follow it. Agreed.
Yes.
I
Right.
think we could add it to the water bill, a notice in there.
Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's the people
absolutely.
that are
Right.
paying for
Great
it, that
idea.
own the home.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
That's
Once
part of
we,
the
once we have the
communication
resolution
Right.
together, what the policy will be, we can send that in. You know,
Is
for
the
the next
next
couple.
water bill sent out in February?
February
Yeah.
1st.
I'm gonna put the-
Last day.
I'm
So.
gonna put
So
the
we won't be this.
survey in there
Well,
too.
we could.
Well,
Are we
We're gonna
getting
get-
responses?
when are we gonna get together to adopt it?
Oh, the resolution?
Yeah.
Um,
So you gotta write it, we gotta,
Right. Well, can we plan on it for next month?
yeah, I don't see if we can work on.
We'll get something
Okay,
done.
that's good.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll ask, I can call
Yeah.
Richard Buck and see if he can
well, I think we can just with,
write it ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
I'll write.
It's not
the
gonna be a
resolution.
law, Jim. It's not gonna be a law. Like if it was a
Right,
law.
it's a resolution.
Right, if it was a law, we have to get Richard Buck, but it's not a law.
okay.
Good.
Okay, we
We
can,
just need advance notice of
Yeah.
turning off.
Well, we
Right,
just need people to
Yeah,
make sure.
yeah.
And if it is an emergency, I mean, if it is something that they want us to respond to immediately, they can do it, but it will be.
there'll be a charge.
Okay.
Resolution,
I think we need to make sure that we separate that from any of the
Yeah.
damage that
right,
is being done because of the village improvements.
Mhm.
So somebody does not equate the two,
right.
because
Mhm.
that is an emergency and that is,
Yeah.
the village's
Yeah.
responsibility.
Yeah. That's perfect, yeah. Okay, the next thing is just a notice, pretty much heads up on, we had a water break in the wastewater treatment plant basement, which is directly underneath the office space. That was where we store most of our documents and we lost a lot of stuff down there. It went a lot longer because we didn't realize it had happened. And Tom came in on Christmas Day to check the building, to walk through the building and realized he heard the water running down there. And realized that we had a serious problem, but he does feel that it would be probably covered through our insurance policy, the cost, but. Okay, and the water project, meter pit at AU, okay, that's not real important. High Street, okay, High Street stuff. All right, that's pretty much everything I have.
Are we getting responses from the survey?
Have we got responses? We have some. We're gonna put it in the water bill. I have 300 of them printed up. And I'll bring them over and they're all tri-folded and ready to go. Well, they're not ready to go. They're gonna print them up this week, but we'll have them all ready for February. Then to go out with the water bill. But we've received probably maybe a dozen or two so far. I do have the results from the last one, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how they
Sure.
compare.
And
Yeah,
chief of police.
I will be brief.
I tried to.
It was a pretty slow month for us. kind of like the fire department. I mean, I put graphs on my thing. If you look at them, you can see students are here, students aren't. It's pretty easy to follow. In the village, we only had 140 calls to service, but this is also the year end too. So for the year to date, we had 2,227 calls to service total in the village. We had 32 in the town, which year to date, we had 445 calls to service. Total for the month, we had 172, and total for the year was 2,672. Arrests, we had one felony, 11, these are charges, these aren't people arrested. We had one felony, two misdemeanors in the town, 11 in the village, 3 violations in the town, and 2 mental health arrests. So total this year, we lodged 227 charges on numerous people. DWIs, only had 1 DWI in the town. Year to date, we had 35. So we had 33 misdemeanor DWI charges and 5 felony charges. Parking tickets were down. We only had 33. Total for the year, we did 585 parking tickets. Traffic tickets, we had 14 in the village, 8 in the town, 22 for the month. But for the year, we did 382 in the village, 123 in the town, and 505 in total for the year. Traffic accidents, we had 6 in the town, almost all of them on one day. When it got very slippery, we had cars into houses, cars off the road everywhere. It was like kind of this morning, all of a sudden it just flash froze and everything was froze up, and of course nobody slows down. So we had a few accidents. So we had 6, and I think 5 of the 6 for December were on that day.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were all in the town. And it wasn't just town roads. I mean, there was a couple of county roads, state roads, everything froze over. So for the year, we handled 20 accidents in the village, 25 in the town, 45 for the year. And that's pretty much it. It was other than we had quite a few personnel changes last month. What did I hand you today? 6 resignations. So we had 5 part-time and 1 full-time resignation. People moving on to full-time jobs. This is that, and everybody's seeing it now, the shortage of police officers. The campaign the last few years to defund the police didn't really defund the police. It just pretty much made people not want to be police anymore. So we're having a really hard time filling our numbers. I talked to a state police investigator who said that out of normally they have 40-some thousand people take the state police test. I think they had 4,000 this year take it. Typically we have 20, 30, 40 people on a list here for Allegheny County. I think we have 7. Same thing with Steuben County. There's more openings in the county than there are people on the list. So with that happening, a lot of part-timers, even though they're not eligible, are getting offered temporary full-time jobs. That's what we lost a lot of our guys to. They make more money doing that, so obviously they're gonna go to it. There's been a few full-time openings, so it's been difficult. One of my reasons for wanting to hire Matt Heller, he's retiring, he's not going anywhere. He knows the job. For us, lately we've become a boot camp. We hire people, we work them a month or 2, and then they get hired someplace else, which is getting to be troublesome.
Yeah.
So someone like him, it shouldn't be, an issue.
Well, and just a comment with having hired Joshua Van Stiver and now Matt Heller part-time, we've really made some nice steps in terms of.
Absolutely. Josh comes with a hell of a good resume from everything he's done over the years. And the other thing that right off the bat, before he was even here, he got us a $3,000 increase in our stop DWI. He's high enough up in the Stop Dealer Ride program that I foresee in the next couple of years, that really taking off for us, more so than it's ever been. Hopefully we'll be able to increase our patrols out there. It'll pay for part-time, it'll pay for full-time, it'll pay portions of vehicles, once we get going on this. I don't think this county ever realized what that program could do, it should be. He ran it in Chemung County and Steuben County. He knows the ins and outs of it big time, so hoping this is gonna, and so far, it has worked to our advantage, going from 6,000, I think it's 92 or $9,300 that gets put towards overtime at night to have guys out for Stop Dealer Ride.
Yeah.
So it dedicates them right to that.
Absolutely. All right.
So,
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, public comment period. Are you going to propose lobster with the law again, Devin?
If you're bringing lobster.
Mr. Clements.
The water line project that's going up on Silk Street and all those, is that going to be coming to West University at any point?
That's a question.
What was that again? I'm
The
sorry.
water line is.
The water line is not going up West University.
It's not going to be anytime soon?
No,
Okay,
not on this particular project.
okay. There's some work that I'm thinking about doing on the driveway, but if the driveway is going to get dug up. because of the water line,
Nah, you're okay.
And I think you were looking for not emergency, but rush fee.
Mhm.
Like if someone needs the water line shut off.
Yes.
But
Like,
thank you for
I
that
need it
term.
to- Can you do it tomorrow?
Yes.
It's like, sure, it's just gonna cost you another $100.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, yeah, rush fee.
Good, thank you. Mark, Williams?
He's got his hand raised,
Oh,
a digital hand raised.
Mark,
Okay.
Mark, you're on.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Beautiful.
This is kind of a comment and maybe perhaps a question for Jim with respect to the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah.
There's some movement related to PFAS. It's what you might have heard about is called forever chemicals, polyfluoral alkyl substances. And they are particularly dangerous with respect to health issues. And although currently the state doesn't require testing, just last month, the US EPA is now urging states to require municipal treatment plants to begin testing effluent and sludge.
Mhm.
Is that something you're familiar with, Jim, or do you currently?
Yeah, I had a discussion with Tom just a few days ago, and he was making reference to this, that they were going to have to start up a few new testing procedures, and it probably has to do with, he did mention sludge, so I'm wondering if that isn't what it is. I didn't get the details. He just told me some of the things changes that took place at the plant. I can check that out for you, though.
So the major issue comes in treatment plants that accept effluent from landfills. Some public treatment facilities accept leachate from landfills. Not sure if Alfred does.
We don't.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a good thing because actually Highland has tested at 3,000 parts per trillion in their leachate in the past. And so it could be an issue. One point of interest is that this is fairly serious with respect to our food supply. There was a major disaster in Maine, and I just wanted to point this out for general interest. There's a major disaster in Maine where sludge was spread on farm fields and milk was becoming contaminated, had to be dumped. It was so contaminated. And so just wanted to point this out and for general interest, and that the testing may be required. this last session, there was also legislation introduced in the state legislature to require testing. I don't think that made it through the session. I don't think that was passed, but it probably sounds inevitable. So I was very interested to hear you. Go ahead.
Well, I know that the county has approached us to do that, but we didn't feel that we were in a position to take that waste, so we turned it down.
Yep.
Now this is a good reason why. I'll make sure I'll check into it and get back to you.
Yeah.
With information of whatever's going on.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
And Pat, yes.
I'm just wondering what we're doing with the survey to get feedback from students.
Well, I was kind of hoping we could put it on a Survey Monkey and put it on our website so that they could have access to it, but the cost of that is prohibitive. It's $500 for the service of Survey Monkey. It comes off as being free until, and they don't tell you when you cross the line, but apparently I crossed the line at some point and but I tried to go backwards, trying to get rid of things that I thought might have been contributed to the $500 fee, but I didn't. It's something, I don't know, if surveys were something that we did on a regular basis, that might be worthwhile for the village to purchase that service, but I'm not sure.
Microsoft has a survey or poll. You say you have a contract with Microsoft?
We do now.
You do now? They have that as a possibility.
Okay, I'll check into it. Thanks.
Cool.
One thing to look into with the survey is how it's tied to the person being surveyed. You know, like it's based on email address, is it based on IP address, anything like that? Because depending on what it's tagged to, there's not a lot to prevent someone from like doing 3 or 4 surveys just
That's
because
true.
they have 3 or 4 emails.
Just,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it does ask you to identify, if you're a student or a resident or a
Right.
business owner or something like that, but you're absolutely correct.
Right.
Great.
Well, it is going out in the water bill, so hopefully, I mean, it will hit at least a portion of the student body.
All right.
I mean, we can make it available on campus too,
Mhm.
print it up and make it available.
Yeah,
I mean,
just leave it at the
Library, student
Right.
centers.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, we'll move on then. Thank you, everybody. Matt, do you want to, just for thoroughness, make a, no. Okay, we will move on to finance. We need board action to acknowledge receipt of the December fiscal summary and financial statements. Sorry about that, folks.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we need board action to pay bills in the total amount of $242,330.17 as detailed below and on the abstract list distributed to the board. General fund, $44,718.68. Water fund, $14,517.06. Sewer fund, $16,321.24. Capital projects, $166,773.19.
So moved.
And second.
It's so easy.
There we go.
And just a quick comment. I think that we are getting all of this information in a far more timely fashion than in the past. And so appreciation to Monica and Carolyn. for
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
So there's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Excellent. And bills abstract, we need board action to pay CP Ward $104,732.65 for the sewer WIIA project construction work contingent on Clark Patterson Lee's engineers approval of the invoice.
Yeah, that's important, that we're not gonna pay this until we get the approval from Clark Patterson Lake
Correct.
to do that.
So
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Right.
Second,
Only friendly amendment, I think, just in the notable items,
Mhm.
it should probably be the 104,000 rather than the 17,000 figure. Next to the amount on the vouchers, I think it's just a holdover dollar amount from the other.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know if it makes a difference, I just,
Oh, I see, okay.
if it's gonna be signed
And
by
then the explanation
you.
point,
Yeah.
Gotcha, yep, thank you for knowing.
Yeah, sure. Because I think you just kept the number from the last one and then,
What it is, it's a different figure, and I.
Yeah.
When you're in there.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Totally understandable.
good catch, Pete.
We all have a certain amount of value, don't we?
Yes, we do.
No, actually, Pete, the 17,000 is Matco Electric from the sewer. You go look back at the.
Right, and that was on the one we just approved,
Yeah.
right?
Right, and so that should be here. Oh, over here, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's on the,
Right.
yeah, I agree with that on the first one we just approved, but the one that's on the, yeah.
I got you.
All right. Reminder that our next
We
regular
haven't voted
board,
on this.
oh, so sorry. We have a motion on the floor.
We do,
Yes.
Yes,
and it was seconded.
and it was seconded.
Mhm.
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor, please say aye. All right, we are covered. Excellent. So a reminder, our next regular meeting is Tuesday, February 14th, 2023. It'll be a meeting with great heart.
Our next
Um,
meeting is actually before that. Several meetings now before that.
Yeah, but this is just our regular board meeting. Therefore, we may adjourn
Okay,
if there is a motion to do so.
I'll motion to adjourn.
Yeah, Pete's really